Hey, hello. Nice to see you. Mate, woof, Enos. And yes, I'm doing some stuff, but as always, I'm distracted. First, I just want to cherry pick any updates since the last one, since the release of 3.17.3 into the 3.x branch. So I just have to find out where the last one was. There. So this is just what I do manually to keep things synced. We've got that, then we've got a whole bunch of stuff that doesn't really matter for 3.x branch, but I try not to diverge it if I can help, even if it's stuff that only matters on the main branch, like half of this about CI stuff. But lots of things, including some fixes. Goodness, there's so much stuff right now with async data. It almost made me think I don't want to do any fixes. I'm just going to pretend that there are no bugs. And actually, that is why I am going to be focusing on nuxt test-utils. I think we already had this one in. Get cherry pick. Skip. Cool. Yes. Shreyas, nice to see you. And Ahmet, nice to see you too. Yes, work on your own project. It's the best way. Woof! I am delighted to hear it. That's fantastic. Zero is great, obviously. So you can come and you can help maintain Zero View. That would be great if you would do that. Okay, this is simple enough. This was just a PR that removed the comments, which were not required. So we just really make sure that we have the correct. There we go. And it'll be exactly the same in here, which is basically we have a type for the default async data error value, which is how we support multiple, like the different options in nuxt 3 and in nuxt for compatibility mode. We remove that from the 4.x branch, expecting a quick release. That quick release did not happen, and so I'm manually doing stuff like this to keep stuff in sync. Cool. Can watch me do Git. So much fun, right? Okay, something else. It's probably very similar. Okay, and yeah, this is actually a better one. Oops. I think this is a better test, but we'll have to just make sure that it passes. There we go. And down here, I think we're accepting that. And then the using. Yeah, I have. One of the things, though, is obviously with Nuxt, we can't immediately adopt everything because we are supporting more. I'm not sure the breadth of using the breadth of support in Node. For goodness sake, how do you find resource? No, where is it? Can someone share a link for it? Oh, using is just too generic, right? But maybe if I do that. Yeah, I'm just not sure that it's supported in all the versions of Node. That's the only real question. And I think this is the change there, and then this is the change there. Then we might need to pop that in. Okay, I think that's right. Now let's just Yeah, it seems like a time when people are changing stuff around, looking for new roles and so on. So not a okay. So this one, I think we still need a reproduction. No? Okay, I didn't see this. When was this? March 21st. Oh, this is just HMR, right? Let's see. And the question is whether this is still reproducible on the latest version. I'll have to check on that. Okay, so where am I? I'm cherry picking. Oh. So what's everyone doing? Robin, nice to see you. Faithfully providing issues. I appreciate it. But I do hate these issues. I hate bugs. Like, honestly, it makes me lose sleep. Cool. That's really good. I would love to set up a zero view with like an SSR test, and also showing people how to use it on SSR, because at the moment the example I have is only on the client side. It would be really nice, I think. Outslept, nice to see you, and welcome. I also have something else that I might vibe code in the background while doing these nuxt things. Does anyone feel like doing that? I will say, Ahmet, that basically personal... Ooh, hello. Interesting. Everything broke with this change. So this is probably because of the... change in... It should probably remain initial cache data doesn't equal null. Oh. Where is it? Okay, and there's somewhere else that we did it as well. And is that it? There. I think this is basically the cause here. Well, let's just see what happens with that one. Okay. Oh, we were running runtime. We are about to... We're about to handle... Oh, this is a node version issue. Okay. Node local... No, Mies local node 22, I think. Maybe it's 20. We'll see what we need to do. Okay, yeah, this is good. And it's expecting it to be undefined. So we set that, I think. Yeah. Just confirm that. Super. Okay, so that is all the changes. That's good for this. And I'm so cautious about this. I'm just going to do a full fixtures test as well. Sorry, yeah, Ahmed, I was just saying, like, a lot of personal stuff, a lot of jobs, the best jobs are about personal contact, I think, rather than just a piece of paper like a resume or an application. And it doesn't hurt to ask people directly either. Cool. So yes, the plan is I'm going to do some stuff with nuxt test-utils, but I was just going to cherry pick these things first, and it turns out that it was a little bit more complicated than I expected. Cool. Right. The link to the Discord groups, chat.nuxt.dev, I think will do it for you. Oh, and I thought I might, as it were, vibe code something in the background. Basically, I want to create an N8N node. So I've been doing more stuff with N8N, so it's extremely cool. You can do stuff like automate different kinds of things, and I thought I could do some streaming automation. So when people, Esteban, nice to see you. When people ask something like, "What font is that?" it can answer them, and I think that would be quite a cool thing. But in order to do that, you need to have an integration for the webhook that Twitch exposes. And there are a couple of options out there which are a little bit outdated. This was published 3 years ago, and it actually only supports a certain, like, these are 5 events, but the actual events that are supported by Twitch are many, many, many more. So it just needs to be extended. And I guess probably the best thing would be to submit a PR to this, but it seems like it's not actively maintained because there's already one fork of it. Yes, so that's the thing that we could get going in the background. Would I mind sharing some thoughts on a link to Discord? Yeah, so let's see what that is about. And yeah, it's a very, very cool thing. So for example, I have this MCP server, which allows my AI integrations to do things like check my email, check my personal events, get weather data, even register packages on NPM, or sync my domains up on to Cloudflare. So for example, I have a tag where when I register a new domain, it will automatically run this workflow to set the name service for that new domain to point to Cloudflare. Isn't that cool? Like, that's very, very useful to me. I don't have to think about it, which means that by the time I come to use the domain, it's already registered on Cloudflare, already has an account, already has the name server set up on Gandhi to point to it. Like, it's like just a delight. So lots of good stuff. Oh, for goodness sake. I'm going to have to try and I guess I have to log in. Okay. Right. Logging in to Twitch, to Discord rather. Do that again. Yes. You could be pointing me to anything. It's a good thing I trust you, Robin. No. This is it. Yeah, you can if you want. It might be easier, but I'm sure it will open in a second. Right. Okay, all of this is good, so that cherry pick is fine. We'll continue with that cherry pick. Oh, for goodness sake, there's another one. What needs to change here? Oh, it's pretty simple. This is just that needs to be added. Cool. And one more, probably also. Oh no, this is much simpler. We just need to run that, update the lock file. And good to go. We'll just push that all up to the 3.x branch. Great. And that is just so people can test the nightly version. Meanwhile, Robin has sent me this, which is that some nuxt resolve aliases sometimes break. Is it possible to update the resolved alias assets to something like hash assets? Yeah. Yeah. That is interesting. I almost wonder whether it's worth just getting rid of assets as an alias, in all honesty. I think it was, we originally created it for use really with probably in, I wonder if it was originally for use in CSS. That might be why. So that people could just do, but actually the fact is that the assets directory is not a special directory. It's just a random directory. Like it doesn't do anything particular. And having assets, I need to check basically to see whether there's anything to be broken by this as just removing it. I have not tried lazy get. Yeah, I'd be up for trying that. But yes, Robin, feel free to open even a PR, because it could be a breaking change that we implement. But yeah, assets doesn't have a lot of value, I think, as an alias, because you can just do ~assets. It's not a lot of extra characters, and it does make it clear that it's just a folder. There's nothing nuxt does to content in that folder. Or anyway, raise an issue so we can discuss it. Open the PR. You're on board. Fair enough. Okay, so this is, yeah, that's the same one that's a bit outdated. So I guess the question is, how active are there issues? How to use? Well, that's anyway. Right, test-utils. So that's what we want to do. There is a raft of stuff on test-utils, and I think we can probably almost go ahead and publish the feature that we have, which is that we support VTest workspaces with a defined VTest project. I would also love to implement browser mode for nuxt test-utils, and that might be something else that we can hack away a little bit at. So browser mode, what was I doing here? Oh, I think I was looking here at build cache support. Okay, I'll create a whip build cache and head back to main. What else is here? I am looking at nuxt test-utils, which is, here is a link to the repo if you're interested. And Particularly, I'm looking to implement browser mode. So vtest has this feature called browser mode. It's experimental, but it is a very cool feature. So it allows you to run your tests not just in a mock environment, but in fact actually in like HappyDOM or JSDOM, which actually run on Node, but they pretend to be a browser. Whereas this allows you to pick an actual browser to run that code. The problem though is that it does need a little bit more than that. So it needs to have a provider. It needs to have the nuxt instance available as well, which should be relatively straightforward, but it's not yet implemented because it's different from having the nuxt environment in. Let's close all of this out. This is different from having the nuxt environment in JSDOM, because we set up the environment there. So Jess added a fixture which was very helpful, this browser mode here. And it's very helpful because it configures it here for us. What is vtest browser view? Okay. Let me just Google that. What is that? Okay. Yeah, so we basically need to have probably a setup file of our own, a nuxt setup file. And hey, Joaquin, nice to see you. And Tim, nice to see you too. Okay, I'm probably going to need another cup of tea in a moment because that is. And this environment nuxt is probably totally irrelevant. Okay, let's run, let's prepare our module, and we should be, Bobby, nice to see you. We should be able to directly run our tests and just debug stuff. So if we go ahead and run test, it should open up in a browser. Oh, what's that? Some errors. So it opens up in a browser. Everything seems to pass, but that's actually because none of this is actually using anything to do with Nuxt. So it's passing. This is what it looks like. It's actually running in the browser. You can see there's a data v app, which is, I think, where the component is mounted. I think maybe the second one. And we could even like put stuff in. Interesting. Util has been externalized. Anyway, we could do some logging. So the actual component that we're running, I think, is my counter. But aside from auto imports, nothing about this is nuxt-ish. And you can see there's no nuxt as a thing. If I change environment nuxt, I wonder if that changes anything. Does it? In other words, does it set anything up for us? No. As I expected, it doesn't. Okay, so we probably therefore need to hack this up. So we basically need to have to configure. We need like a vtest browser nuxt, and that should be doable. Okay, so we're just going to manually create that for now, and then we'll have to move it in somewhere else. So we'll vtest browser nuxt, and we have setup files. So let's just see what they're going to do, like what the format is. This is Firefox Developer Edition. Okay, so we have a setup files. Just going to do some stuff, I guess. Run before each test file, and okay, window dot hi there So let's just make sure that that is actually running. And oh no, it's not. Failed to import it. I would probably need an absolute path. No, it just needed the extension. Okay, so that is probably working. No, it's actually not. Is that running on the server then? I'll just try console logging it. Running vtest browser next. Let's restart you. Okay, no, it is running there. And it is also, interestingly, I don't know if this is coming from the browser. I assume it is, Chromium. Okay, so it does run. Now we currently have an entry here, which runs the nuxt entry. So this is probably what we would want to import. So let's just try doing that. So import source runtime entry, and we need to set this, I guess, or we could just actually remove it. Interesting. We'll make it a dynamic import. Okay. And let's see what that does. Yeah, cannot read properties of undefined, reading base URL. And that is because nuxt does access the base URL. And we already have this that needs to be set up as well. So we're just going to do that here. And we'll just ignore that for the moment. Let's just hard code it. Is that working? No. Modules invalidate module. Where's that coming from? Oh, I guess we can't do that. Let's instead just pull this out and run that. So let's try that and see stuff working. Okay, so stuff is, where is this? Stuff is working, I guess. Working-ish. So it's not really working. There's no target selector. Oh, no worries, because we can do that. We do that anyway here, where we create that. Beautiful. And so there is a little bit more that we can do before we and we're just going to say that it's going to be, what is it, nuxt test. Yeah. Try that one more time. Oh. Okay, that's very promising. Okay, so we have, let's just see, use nuxt app. No, interesting. That's not working, but maybe, why wouldn't it work? And I don't see it in the DOM either, even though it has added it to the DOM, right? It's done that right here. Maybe it's happening in an iframe or something. That's the only thing I can imagine. Let's try that. Yeah, okay, it's probably happening in here. Yes, that's where the nuxt test is. Beautiful. And let's see if we can actually use the nuxt runtime environment now. So do something like console log use runtime config. And interesting. I think this obviously is, oh, it is logging it. What is breaking though? Cannot find element with locator. Oh. Why is that happening? I wonder somehow if this happening? So our vtest app entry is basically coming back with, where are we getting the nuxt test thing from? And why do we have, it looks like we're having both nuxt and view mounted to the same thing. Well, let's just check. I just have to run the test again. Okay. So let's see what's going on here. We have nuxt test data v app, and then we have this other div, which is actually the component. And it feels like, no. That's actually working now, maybe now that we restarted it. And let's just check if I put like the runtime config here. Let's just do config. Actually, I could do $config. It's an alias for it. I think we have to figure out the teardown of this, because like it's fine when we restart it. Ooh, nothing there. Not defined on instance. Oh, that's probably because it's not running within the nuxt view app. So we probably could do this and say, that will probably work. No, it won't. Yeah, it's because it's not running in the view app probably. And I wonder if, yeah, now you see it's there. So I think we need to obviously improve the experience of restarting the test, because this is a pain. But we're well on the way to getting browser testing working with nuxt test-utils. This is using vtest browser view. And then in the component test, it's using vtest browser view working. So I think that's probably what you want, or what we want. But the thing obviously is that vtest browser view is probably mounting these components outside the nuxt instance. So, which is why the injection of like $config isn't working. We probably need like a nuxt version of this, I would guess. Because what we want is to have, anyway, you see what I mean. Unless there's some kind of way we can configure it. How can we configure it? Aha! We can modify the config. And what do we want to modify? Aha! Yeah, so all of this stuff. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. I think we can probably do some global config. For us. So we do this, and let's see what happens if we do that. Okay, so if I pull in, let's try doing that in VTest browser nuxt. And let's just see if that works. So I want test t hi. Does that? I want that to do something for me, just to confirm that it's actually working. And yeah, it is working. Okay, so that is fine for me to modify then. But we do. This is weird. Why is this a bug in VTest? Why is orchestrator not found? Seems to be very buggy. Right, it's probably something that I've done. I don't mean to complain about VTest. Right, I need tea, and then I'll come back. And Carlos, I'll also have a thought on the biggest tip for nuxt apps. But see you all in a second. Grab your own tea or whatever. Not that you need my permission for that. I'll see you in a couple of minutes. I am back. Cool. Right. I have my tea, which is probably too hot to drink right now. Tragically. Okay. I bet you anything. If I do something like await new promise, this won't work. Because I bet it doesn't work in, there's probably no suspense. Yeah. So this is exactly the problem we faced with view test-utils. It just has no support for suspense. And so we need to do we need to basically have a nuxt equivalent of vtest browser view. Which we have, because we've built the equivalent for mount and also for render. And probably porting those to have a browser version is not be that difficult either. So, but it is definitely a, yes, Firefox does change color based on the web page. Although that wasn't Firefox, that was just the Chromium version that fired up. But my Firefox does too. So let's see, there's workflows. You see it's a little bit lighter. If I switch to the view documentation, it's a bit darker here. GitHub has a different gray, but it means it's just sort of seamless across. I could go to, I don't know, Google, which will turn it white to match, or sort of creamish color. And it's an extension called Adaptive Tab Bar Color. And it lets you do things like pick how the color comes from the web page, and how it's sort of mapped onto the sidebar and the toolbar and so on. I think it's a cool feature, even though it does mean that there's some flashing that goes on. Okay, so to do, we need to add our own vtest browser view integration. So users won't add vtest browser view, they'll add a nuxt test-utils thing. Environment nuxt doesn't make sense for browser testing, but we basically need to have our own, so it should be effectively like vtest browser nuxt. And that's all people need to add, or it should just be like, I guess, nuxt test-utils vtest browser. Like that should be what people have to add in their setup files. And then that should just work with everything. But for now, what we want to do is make sure that all the other features that we have work. And so, hey Q, nice to see you. In particular, we need to figure out why this is not, oh, I wonder. Let's see, const ID is document query selector nuxt test OL. If L dot move. Let's try that because this might be required. Oh, now the only question is this. Does this need to be, or maybe if not L, how about that? Then we reinitialize, and otherwise we don't. Let's see if that fixes the problem we had before. Basically, the problem was when we were rerunning the test, it was throwing an error, so we had to restart, which was a pain. So now if I go and let's change the counter. That's weird. What's happening in here? Oh, it's still there, but maybe it's just broken because it's not displaying. Yeah, that's fine. So it's actually rerunning perfectly. Okay, so that's fine. So this test is is working. Now we need to add the missing bits here. We need to get this config across the boundary. So we have, I think, I can ignore that. We have, what's our entry? No, not our entry, our environment. Is it the index? Yeah. Okay, so there are a few things that we do to set up, and we need to match this side by side. So what are we using the URL for? That's just setting the window URL. I'm not sure if we can do that here. We need to respect the root ID. So here, okay. We also don't need to do this, I think, because that's done by the browser, index.db, but we do need to implement all of this. So I think we can probably export this as a shared util. But for the moment, we're just going to hard code it. So I'm going to pop all of that in there. We're going to add our app manifest support there. And let's see what happens. We need to import these, I guess. And environment options. I guess we need to get this from somewhere. And normalize fetch response, I think we use this here. Obviously, we're going to share all of this. And I'll just set there we go. Let's try that one more time. Yes, I have tried Vim. I know it's a joke. Okay, not create fetch. That is coming from fetch. In fact, I'm surprised it's not. Yeah, it's not that. Okay. Okay, it's working fine. So now we probably don't even have. Oh, we do have an error. Do we have an error? No, we don't. Do we have our JSON? Probably isn't even appearing there. Great. So we don't have an error about the. Oh, we do have this. Builds meta undefined. That's probably because we need to have the build ID, which is coming in from nuxt. I think this will be resolved when we pass our runtime config in. So we basically need to get in our environment options from somewhere. And so we therefore need to expose that via a Vite plugin. So what we're going to do is we have this nuxt vtest app entry. And so we can also do the same for environment options, I guess. So we'll do environment options, and we'll call this environment options. options. And basically we will, we just have to resolve this. So we're going to, we need options. So we basically need the options. Oh, sorry, Carlos. Biggest tip, I think try and do stuff for yourself. So try and hack into everything that nuxt gives you. Yeah. So build a module for your own purposes. Like just build it in your own project. That kind of thing. Okay, so then we are going to return, yeah, like that. And okay, I think this is good. Let's try, this isn't loaded yet, but we're basically going to need to import it from here. So cool. And yeah, that's a very good piece of advice. In general. Okay, so that's not going to work right now because it is not adding the thing, the plugin. So we created a plugin. What did we call it? Environment options. Plugins. We already have this one here. So we're going to add and nuxt environment options plugin. I'm going to import that from environment options, and we're going to add it in the same way. So add Vite plugin. We basically somehow need to get access to the, oh, this might actually better be put not here, but, or would it be better put here? Thank you. That was nice of you to say. So where could we do it? So basically, are we running? No, we're not running the environment. Because we're not running the environment, we don't have a chance to do it in the vtest config. So I think what we have to do, in fact, we don't have, we don't have the environment. So, or we could add it. So let's, just for the sake of making this simple for the moment, we're going to actually set the environment to be nuxt. And environment nuxt, which is then going to mean we now have the environment index. And here we're going to be able to, I think, no. What is going on in that file? Define vtest project, no, not this. Okay, so we do have the opportunity in define vtest config. Okay, so we don't actually need the environment. We're doing this in our vtest config. So we can here add back resolved config.plugins .push environment options. nuxt environment options plugin.vite, and then we'll at this point pass our options, which should be resolved config.test. There we go. So now, hopefully, we should be able to pull in our config. So let's just try catch. Okay, I just want to be able to run this. Okay, so what is it going to say? It can't work. Oh, somewhere we're importing source. This is a common issue with VS Code where it is basically ends up adding auto imports with the wrong config. Okay, missing this specifier. Cool. What if I drop the thing? What's it complaining about? It can't resolve. Does it exist? So why is this not resolving? Actually, this is a much too complicated plugin. We can simply inline it in our config here. And we can actually just pop out the stub ID and the plugin name. And drop the Vite prefix. So why would this not work? Yep, it's complicated. And it's very complicated. And the idea is going to be that we take all the complexity out of what the user has to provide. So they should only, in the end of the day, have to add this to their setup files. And actually, they shouldn't even have to add that. So that should be added by default. So ideally, this is actually not an end-to-end test. This is a unit test, but it's running in the browser. So why is this not working? I guess we should probably try maybe that. And then, yeah, let's try that. What's the matter? Nuxt vtest environment options. This is happening, right? I'm just going to try inlining it in the vtest config in case I have somehow making an assumption that is just not the case. Oh, that has to run. Well, that has to run in the browser, but so that should still be fine. So let's just stick this here and pop out. Oh, that's not going to work. Let's just do this and copy these things and pop them there. Okay, that seems to be working fine. That's interesting. So this is working. Oh, probably it's about push or unshift. Let's unshift this. Is that right? Nope. Interesting. Okay, so this resolved config plugins should make no difference between putting it here, because we're calling the same function. Hey Siyash, what do you mean that async confuses you? The exclamation mark is a non-null assertion. So it's basically saying this is not undefined, and it's something that exists in TypeScript to allow you to, well, to sort of specify that something isn't undefined. This is working now. So we are so weird. Let's try the hash instead. And let's just pull that back. And let's drop it from here again. It breaks. Oh, this is an import analysis. Is that somehow the difference? Why would it make a difference? Yeah, you should avoid doing it if you can. I'm just trying to hack this together right now, I think. It's the main thing. Oh, you're right. This shouldn't be async. It's only because I copied something from another plugin that was, and I haven't updated the code. But it's not async. You're right. Well, let's just have a look at what the actual plugins are. Ooh. Well, that's weird. Ah, the code was never running. Oh, happy days, right? I was early returning. Craziness. Okay, now we're inserting it. I was like, why does it make a difference where we put this thing? So now, well, I have to restart the retest instance, but now it should be fine. Now we're getting a different error. This is saying it can't find properties of undefined reading href, which is probably something to do with weird. There we go. Okay, so we are good to go. We can drop that, and let's just check that this works on refresh. Beautiful. Okay, cool. So that means now that we can pull this out of our entry here and actually just directly import it. So there we go. So so now hopefully we can get the real environment options. Okay, no. Oh, was it? Ooh. Interesting. That's weird. So this worked fine. That's interesting. Okay, so let's revert that again. So const environment options is an empty object. Now just try catch. Okay. Super weird. Okay, so it is logging it. It can import it dynamically. Why can't it import it? Well, now that's weird. We could basically do this. Is that going to work? No. That's so peculiar. Oh, it's logging that. It's not logging that. Okay, so there's actually a... it's to do with the null byte. So let's just try stub ID, see if that makes a difference. Okay, now we get this .href issue, which is, what is that about? Resolve module URL. It's probably the issue. It's, let's push it instead. No, somewhere it's trying to resolve this thing and it can't access it, probably because of the ID having a hash. So let's just drop the hash and see if that makes a difference. Yeah, okay. So that's working and we get our value there. And now we should be actually able to pull this in that way and beautiful. So now we'll just pop that out, drop that out, log that out, restart. Okay, so now we're getting our proper environment options, which is great. So we can now have parity between our browser environment and our previous vtest environment, which means we can also refactor this in a second. So trying to pass. Yes, sorry, Bobby, you were there already. I'm only seeing it now. Okay, so yeah, so we're good. We're good. This is all working fine. Beautiful. But what we need to do is extract the configuration because there's some stuff that's happening. Okay, so we can pull this, I think, sorry about this. Let's pull this back into our runtime where we have our entry. And this is vtest browser nuxt. So we'll call this our browser entry. And we'll point this to it here. So just for now, stop that. 2 ups and then source runtime browser entry.ts. Does that work? Yeah. And okay, so that's fine. It's now in the right kind of location. And now we need to extract stuff between the browser entry and the node entry. So this latter bit here is identical, I think. So basically we're going to call this as a file shared nuxt and export function initialize nuxt, and we're going to do that. So this is what we do, async function and da-da. So now we're going to just call initialize nuxt, and we have to update that to be here. Okay, and we can do the same with here. We'll just and yeah, we probably need to await the other one as well. Cool. I honestly am probably most comfortable working with TypeScript and JavaScript. In all honesty, I'm sure I could pick up other languages, but it's been a while. PHP, I used to love Perl. But yeah, I'm probably most comfortable with PHP if you're looking outside of the JavaScript world. Okay, so we have our entry. Yeah. Okay. But Bobby, this is the exact same setup. So this is a module, and I believe it uses a module builder to build it. So oh no, it uses unbuild just directly. But this is just a runtime directory in exactly the same way that the runtime directory is in the module builder. So you can just you do exactly the same thing that I've just done. Okay, so we have that shared bit there, but we also need to have some shared. We can delete that. It depends what you mean by an app. So when we use the term nuxt app, it's not like a nuxt server. It doesn't do a build. A nuxt app is just a runtime thing, the thing that you get when you call use nuxt app. So use nuxt app, it's an app. Basically, it's the nuxt runtime, and so you need the nuxt runtime. The tests are extremely fast. So the actual running of the test is 105 milliseconds. It's running in an actual browser. In Nuxt itself, we do our runtime tests, which have the same kind of thing. And you you can get a feel for how quick they are. So 135 tests in 2 seconds. So these are not starting Nuxt servers. They are just creating the Nuxt runtime environment. Yeah. And the difference here is this moves those kind of runtime tests from happening in Node into the browser as the environment. So JS DOM into the browser. So that's what we're setting up here. Okay, so we have the shared, we've got our browser entry. Now half of the stuff here is in the environment. So we have somewhere environments index. Okay, this. Now this is probably need to create a shared util here that basically says we'll call it environment for now, and we'll pop out this. This is basically initializing the window. Okay, so what we want to do is have a function. So again, export function setup window, yes, and we'll take a window passed to us, and then we have some utils, okay, and we will, I think, only do this. Okay, so I think that's what we want, and then I think the initialized Nuxt business that lives somewhere else. So what we want is to replace all windows. So we're going to rename them to win. And then we are going to, is there an extra? There we go. We have some utils, and then we have this initialized win variable. And we probably need to, okay, and then in here, we're going to import initialize window, setup window, I'll call it. I think setup window is fine, and Nuxt should also be renamed to like setup Nuxt. Okay, so we have setup window, which we're going to call in here. And then we're going to do await setup window, and that is going to replace that, and also all of this. And then we set up Nuxt like that. So that massively simplifies this implementation. And ooh, I guess we have to import the environment options then. Oh no, we have to pass the environment options. So we'll set up window and environment options. And setup window will need to take environment options as a second param. And that will then be Nuxt environment. Okay, and that is going to be up. Cool. keys coming from? Oh, it's just marked as record string only. That's a shame. I think what we want to say is nuxt environment nuxt options, and then nuxt runtime config is record string any, and this will give us an error, and I guess these do as well. What is registry defined? We do actually, I think, nuxt window is what we want. Okay, so this is going to need to accept a param of nuxt window. And now everything is starting to work. Nuxt root rules is also a thing. I guess that's also just going to be a go. And we'll need to add a question mark. Config. So that means hopefully that this should be usable in both contexts. So we have setup window, which we can call in our browser entry. Cool. Drop all the imports. And then we should be able to do exactly the same. Oh. We should be able to do exactly the same in our environment, where we pull in sorry people if I'm not answering your questions. Runtime shared environment. So this will be setup window. So what we're going to do here is await setup window win environment options, and that's going to replace this, this. Not sure it replaces that. I don't think we did that. Yeah, we didn't. So we'll keep this polyfill. In fact, we'll do that first, just in case. It does replace the H3 app. And I think it replaces that as well. The node handlers, the app manifest, all of this, it replaces. Cool. Ooh, where does keys come from? Ah, this. So I think, yeah, I think that's right. Drop all of those, drop all of these, and now we have our lovely little teardown. We can also drop all of that and remove half of the imports. Now, whether this will work or not, I'm not sure, because okay. So, okay. We might also want to extract this into setup window, just because it makes for a much nicer experience. And I think early return in this case. Oh, why is this? Anyway, I must have put it a bit lower down. Root ID. That's obviously not the right options. Oh, it's environment nuxt options. We need environment options. nuxt root ID. They are nuxt environment options. Okay, so not environment nuxt options, but nuxt environment options. These are very important differences. So this should be exported and then imported here. And there we go. So now let's just put this up here. So const root ID is that. We'll then use that root ID here. And here. And cool. And then it will just return, because all of this is stuff we only want to do once. And there we go. Okay, so let's see if this works for our current one. It's probably going to do that, but it might not work for, probably going to work. Properties of undefined reading root ID. Oh, because it's being exposed now as environment options.nuxt. So let's just check. So we basically need to expose nuxt and okay, so we have our config and we are exposing a plugin. And we basically need to expose the whole environment options, I guess. There we go. Ta-da! Beautiful. And it's even pulling in test.json. This is great. Oh, trust me, there are going to be more tests. But that test is just making sure that we can do something like access the nuxt instance. So something like use runtime config has to pull in, and you can also see that it's pulling it here. So there is a nuxt instance. That's the main thing we want to ensure. Okay, the whole component mounting thing, like async component mounting, is the next step. But we also need to make sure that our current tests still work, because we have done quite a lot of things to, we refactored quite a lot of things. Oh, console info is, oh, that's a pain. So I think we need to return a teardown from here. So and I think that's probably the thing to do. And so what we have now is that's probably the wrong, yeah, teardown window. Oops. So now we're going to go here and say teardown window. What? Oh, because we need to also return. Amazing. So that should, but not, yeah, I need to check that this works for non vtest full, because I'm expecting this will probably fail because we're importing from runtime code. Thank you, Jean, that's very kind. Document is not defined. That's fair. Let's try that. Oops. Hey, that's. Okay. Ooh, window. So somewhere else we're using window in here. Come on. Window. Okay. And interesting. So where is the nuxt selector coming from? So somehow our environment options root ID is, why would that be? Huh. Interesting. Because I guess, so why? I mean, that makes sense to me, but it means that something is not working. Okay, so we're preferring root editor's ID anyway. And okay, so maybe we were already doing a workaround. Let me just check. Well, yes, I am standing, by the way. So in test-utils, we were already, I guess, were we hard coding nuxt test? Weird. So where was environment options coming from, I guess? So here, it looks to me like the environment options should actually wrongly be set to this ID. But somehow, why? How? This is so weird. Are we setting it somewhere? Why? This is so strange. I guess this is something that we should just change in terms of our defaults. So we allow the users to configure it, but otherwise we pass nuxt test. So okay. Well, that's strange. Okay, there's a lot of stuff that's different. So the root ID is correct now. but there is some stuff that's not correct. So I think the fetch this is so peculiar to me. Like, why all of these things are failing? So let's just run one runtime test. How about that? So we're going to run vtest and config. Okay, it can't mount target selector and it can't pass the URL. So there are two things there. So one is, this is the mount. So we changed the environment to default to nuxt test, but we haven't changed the entry. No? Well, where are we calling setup nuxt? Well, that's interesting. So why is it trying to mount to __ nuxt? Maybe I was wrong to change it to nuxt test. Maybe that's my problem. So let's say we revert that change. Oh, is this the issue? No. Oh, this is the browser entry anyway. The normal entry. But that's not the thing. It's the environment that's running, and it's this bit specifically. Okay. I think the problem here is, I think if I were to remove this, let's try that. So this is the JS DOM bug, that it's not suppress error JS DOM bug with query selector. Okay, so that's the issue. Right, let's try this again. it thinks that there is no div. Oh, it's the other way around. Right. We want to return if there is an element already present. Cool, that's running fine. What if we just run the full test suite? Okay, looking good. Okay, so we've refactored a couple of things. Our current test suite seems to be running fine. Let's see what lint is going to say about the any's. Oh, and we also want to just confirm that the this also works with the changes that I made. Beautiful. Okay, yeah, it's complaining about the any. Also, we don't need this, and so we can clean up a couple more things as well. So, right. It's also, we have to confirm that this will work with the yeah, this is VS Code with the imports from the runtime paths, which it totally might not. So cool. Yeah, I like it with the panel coming out from the right hand side. Okay, we're going to come back to this in a second, but I am going to take a quick break. About 30 seconds, I'll be back. See you in a sec. I am back. Okay, so we're doing well, I think. We just need to tidy up these any's. So and there are a couple in here. And one. Okay, so that should be good with linting. Cool. So we'll just update the test to show that the runtime config needs to be in it. So we want to say it can use nuxt specific composables. What do we want it to have? Beautiful. Okay, so this is good. We have a test, we have an environment, these extracted things. Oh yes, we need to do one more thing. So at the moment we have the VTest browser view, and we have this this entry coming out. And so we probably need to figure out whether we always want this to run. Or not. So let's say for the moment that if someone sets environment nuxt on their browser test, it means they do want that. So what we're going to do is go back into our config, and we have this test for browser mode here. So we say, how about this? If resolved config test browser enabled, if resolved config.test environment is nuxt, then we will add this. No, I think we always want to add that plugin. Yeah, never mind that. But I think if the environment is nuxt, then we're going to add a setup file. So that can be a string. You spotted it. It is I hope, a very cool thing for people who don't use Nuxt. So initially, this was the Quick team came and they said, hey, can we build something on top of Fontaine and Unifont like Nuxt fonts? And I said, sure, go for it. But what they did is they refactored it and found that basically almost all the code they would need is already in Nuxt fonts. They came back and said, hey, can we actually share it? So I thought that was a great idea. And so what we've done is we've extracted all of the core bits of Nuxt fonts into this package called Fontless. And I've then merged it into Fontaine as a package. So now we have this fontless package, and it actually works. So you basically get Nuxt fonts, but it works in Analog and React and Remix and Solid and Svelte, and you get this Nuxt fonts experience of just being able to use a font family and having the fonts already injected into your browser. So it's a really, really big deal. But this was really late last night when I was merging everything in, and there's still work to be done, particularly around documenting it, and so on, because at the moment, like, there's an empty README, which is like package description. So there's a lot of documentation that needs to be done, but it basically brings Nuxt fonts to Svelte and anyone else using Vite. It's super simple to use. So the configuration is just you import fontless and add it as a Vite plugin. Magic. Okay, so if browser enabled, exactly, then we're going to add our browser entry, which is going to be const browser entry is await resolve file. Find path, I think maybe. Resolver, resolve. Do I have a resolver? Not in here, I guess. Yes, exactly. Is create resolver. Oh, we must already have done that. Where? Oh, somewhere else. Wait. Find path. Resolver, resolve. Runtime. Browser entry. Okay. Okay, so hopefully that will now mean that we don't have to specify it in the configuration file. It just works if someone has set the, oh, but I think we need to refactor this and stick it out into here, because we also want this to work for projects. So we're going to say I think we can now remove this as a separate thing. I think we also can remove that and move it down here too. And does that still work? What is that? Oh, sorry. It is my edit. This is VS Code. And if you go on my website, it's row.dev/users, and it will tell you my configuration. Although I probably need to update it. It's probably changed a bit since I've last touched it. Cool. So I think, okay, feed browser testing. Now, the thing that is missing right now is support for rendering stuff in suspense. So that's the thing that we still have to implement. But having said that, it might not even work with mount suspended. Let's try that. Yeah, let's already go ahead and try it. So if we have our component test, let's pull across one from here and pop it in there. Oh, for goodness sake. It's a lot of stuff that doesn't exist. We're just going to say my counter. In fact, let's just do it the other way around. Let's just copy this in here. And instead of render, we're going to mount suspended. come on. That's weird. That is right. And then how do we use it? We say const component is await, I think. And then get by text would end up being component dot find no, component dot, what is it? I'll just say component dot text. Oh. Find component. For goodness sake. Oops. Oh yeah, we don't have to do exactly all the tests. We can simply, we can make this a little bit more simple. So we are just going to pull across, we're going to say expect component dot text to contain count 0. And then what we're going to do here is find component. Find. What is find? Can I find by selector? No, so it's all selector based. So we're going to find a button. Ooh, can I pass some kind of stuff? No. That was just a hallucination. What do you mean by are there any config files? Let's just see if this is working or if I'm on an entirely wrong path to get this to going, because all we really wanted to see, does this work? Oh, I regularly resupply it. Oh, for goodness sake. Why does it even care? Okay. What's going on? Oh. Okay, so there's some issues, which is great. So maybe we have to await for next tick. And we're good. Okay, so it is working fine with mount suspended, but we probably need to have a render equivalent. So this also probably means that we don't have to add vtest browser view at all. Yeah, it's working fine. Weirdly without it. Let's just try that again. Seems strange. Okay, it's working. Okay, so what are we going to want to say? We're going to want to do the same decrement button, and it's going to have to say decrement, and then we're going to want to click it. And then we want to do the same. Rerun. Can I rerun play? Oh, it's probably preserving the state. Oh no, we have to await the next step. Beautiful. And then finally, we want to do, we just want to say, okay. Amazing. And then our test here probably does not need vtest browser view, but it seems to be working fine. So we might be good. And we'll add that back just because it seems like probably good practice for that particular usage. And let's push and see if stuff passes. I should have, let me try building it first. I think there's going to be maybe an issue. Okay, it did build. Does it still work? Because at this point, we should have an import from vtest environment, which imports from, no, it's inlined it, which is actually fine. It doesn't need to share the code at runtime. Okay, so let's see what we've got when we open that. Cool. Yeah, but the real test will be here. Does the CI pass? And I'm not necessarily sure it will. Okay, now Jess created a great PR here, which I think added some tests. So this would be a very good thing to test this against. And let's just try, what are we gonna do? I'm gonna need to fetch her branch, get remote add Jess. Oh no, Jessica sucks, test-utils. Okay, so we'll just keep that. Oh, she's added a new example. Like she's updated the content example rather than, okay, updating the lock file. And let's see if that works. So if we app test content, app content, and then run it's not optimistic. Errors. What is going on? Oh, you need to say environment nuxt. And oh, I see. No. Why is this not working? Oh, the mixed versions. That's for some reason vtest has been dropped, so let's add that back in as well. And also nuxt is not there anymore. Okay, this is the one without the browser. Oh no, this is running both. So first it ran them without the browser, now it's running with the browser, and it failed. And it failed because it couldn't import vtest browser view. that's weird. Because it really should. Whoa. No, the browser worked fine. Well, they both worked fine. I'm not quite sure what the issue is here. Okay, great. I don't need to do that log. It just is working fine. Okay, so that would be amazing if so. I'm confused. I'm so confused. So it is working. CI failed? How could you say that to me? How could CI fail? Well, it would be too good to be true if it all worked fine the first time, wouldn't it? I wonder if this is a flake. And if it is, we need to fix it. But it's very interesting because that's the same error we got locally and we ran it a second time it worked. So I wonder if it's something like, so this is what we got, and then we really changed nothing and we reran it and it was fine. So this is about dependency optimization. And it's about this depth scan trigger. So this is an ES build issue, like this dependency scanning problem, which that's a very weird one to try and resolve. So I wonder how we're going to fix that. I bet I could re-trigger it by doing that and now running test. Let's see if that happens. No. Yes. So that fails. Now if I try it one more time, it succeeds. So this is an issue that only happens in the optimization phase. And the problem is, I guess, in CI is it will always, I don't think it's flake. I think it is just something that it's or it's a Vite flake issue. So the issue is that the first time the dependency optimization runs, it fails, probably because it can't resolve something, but then but something else it resolves, it means that now it can resolve it the next time it runs. So that's a pain. And yeah, we do have to figure out why that is happening. It must be a race condition. It must be a race condition in Vite. I have so many issues with Vite depth scan because of you know how it's working. So it's resolving these things. One by one. It might be something to do with this. I mean, I wonder if we can disable it. So that might actually be something that like we need to do as a let's see, feed dependence optimize depths. I think we can disable No discovery. Let's try that. See if that makes any difference. We still need to run the prepare step, and then I'm going to have to go. Unfortunately. But let's see if that makes any difference with it. Okay. Seems good. Let's see if that makes a difference. Don't you love waiting for CI? Like, we're not even testing, we're just preparing, we're just stubbing everything. Now we're building the module. Yeah, Daniel. Come on, this shouldn't take that long. Okay, testing the types. The types in the unit test, these things are going to pass. We know that. We want the examples. And specifically, actually, only one of the examples is really that relevant. Hey Harish, nice to see you. This is actually just Firefox, Firefox Developer Edition. It worked. It worked. It worked. It worked. It worked. Oh, yeah. That is what I like to see. Hashtag not first time. There was previous commits that failed. But we can ignore that for the moment, because it does seem to be, fingers crossed, working now. So that's all that really matters, right? Okay. I think we are good to go. Okay, right, and sadly I must go. So thank you everyone for joining. This has been a lot of fun as always. I'm going to see if there's anyone we can go raid. Who is there? No one I follow seems to be online. But anyone recommend any other streamers who might be out doing stuff, building things? They're all games. It's not why I'm on Twitch. This may contain a mature rated game. Let me know. Or I will leave it up to you to pick someone to go and see if you want to go and listen to anyone else. Anyway, thank you so much for joining. It has been a lot of fun, and I will catch up with you all later.